You can
Yeah,
kick
over
off.
to you, Sandeep.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, those who have joined. My name is Sandeep Padhye. I'm one of the founder directors of Garje Marathi Global. With us, we also have Anand Ganu, who is the president of Garje Marathi Global, who started this journey. And whatever you are seeing today is all, I would say, the foundational things were built by Anand and his wife Sunita Gano. So I want to, first acknowledge and be grateful that they have created this platform for all of us to come together and, start this networking of all the globally connected Marathi people. So we, Garje Marathi Global, started 2016, Anand, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
2016.
Yes. And that's since then our main intention was to start building the network of professionals, academicians, entrepreneurs. And it started with few books which Anand wrote, and after that it became a movement. And now it's like spreading like wildfire across world. So we have chapters right from New Zealand to California. We have people working immensely, contributing immensely to this whole ecosystem. I in person is very much happy that something of this sort has been created. I'm talking in English, though the intention is to get all the Marathi people together. But here we are focusing on our very professional and academic oriented and even entrepreneurial oriented people to come together and discuss and express their ideas. Over a period, we did a lot of things, and I think the pivoting moment for us was when we did the first conference in 2023 in Bay Area. After that, we did one in New Jersey, and then last year, this January 2025, we had our first India conference with MEDC as our strong partner on ground who made that happen. Um, and we are planning one in Dubai in the month of August, which Anand might be able to tell you at the end of this session so that you get more information on that, or on our platform, the information is available. The intention again, so why I'm giving you the context of why we're doing this, we were thinking, okay, why can't we come together and grow together? So it's purposeful growth is what we are all looking for. End of the day, we come from Maharashtra, we come from the background where, entrepreneurship was not always a thing. And we were surprised and shocked to see that people are so much interested. And I think the convention in 23 changed that. And since that, I would say we have raised and helped millions and millions of dollars for founders, the young startup founders from India, US. So that gave birth to a lot of ideas, including Me and Maza Jilla, which actually is working very well, where everybody is giving back to the community where they have come from. And there are many other programs which we can go through. Most of you, if you don't know, you can also start participating. In that whole context, we were very excited, and then we started this venture catalyst program, where we then allowed a lot of startup founders to start, getting the benefit of the investors and the angel investors who might be interested to know how that investment should be made. And in that whole process of raising funds, we realized that then we had and I can see Jay joining. Jay, one of the I would say, authors and founders of Venture Catalyst, is a strong supporter of Garje Marathi. He donated well with us. So thank you, Jay, for that as well. On GMG's behalf, I would like to be grateful to you. But what he's bringing on table is very extraordinary. His story of struggle, I think everybody has a story of struggle, and there is no story without a struggle. So he's going to talk about that. But most importantly, he's going to talk about the generational wealth, which when me and Jay met, we just said that it is important that we need our people to think about generational wealth and not the incremental thing which we have built known for so far. And that's where this idea of global Marathi investor group, he already had started this journey through his own fund and all. But then when he said, when I'm doing this, why not involve the Marathi community? And then what are the pitfalls? How can you participate? So we all, both of us, brainstormed for a while, and then here we are today to talk about that, talk about Jay's story, talk about how you can participate in this whole exercise. and also know more about Jay. So Jay, over to you. Thank you. I know you must have had some technical difficulties, but good to see you here in time. And we have some great audience already building up. So welcome and over to you.
Thank you so much. And first of all, I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. For those of you who are in the America, or perhaps now it's worldwide, we all know it's Father's Day. And my wife is American. I did not know she had a little surprise planned.
Oh,
So I couldn't get away from that, and I tried. But my apologies for that. But here we are. So thank you so much for the kind words. And thank you everybody for joining today. Um, since I was a few minutes late, I might as well start jumping into the presentation and talk about why we are here and how we intend to take this initiative further. With that, let me share my.
so while Jay shares, I would like to say that Jay, a lot of people say we are serial entrepreneurs, but Jay is a multi-entrepreneur. So he's doing a lot of things together. And that's where I think the beauty of, or maybe the secret of where he is today lies. So Jay, over to you.
Absolutely. Let's minimize. All right, I cannot see you guys, but hopefully you do see me. Um, this is not going forward.
We are seeing your presentation.
I know, I'm just trying to take it to the next page and it's not going down. Page down, page up. Interesting. Huh.
Try the arrow keys.
I am. Try.
If you have more than one monitors, that can happen sometime.
I do not have more than one monitor. I only have one.
Okay.
And this is strange. This has never happened before. All right, let's try one more time.
In your PPT, go to the slideshow. At the bottom, you will see TV-like icon. Click on that.
Yeah.
It will go to slideshow.
Are you doing a PDF or a PPT?
I am doing a PPT. And let's share it.
We none.
And share. Can everybody see my?
We can see your. Yes, we can.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we all live in the US and perhaps this is now common all over the world. Our attorneys make us say this. I'll leave this open for a second, but it basically says, we're not doing anything we're not supposed to. I always like to start with what it's not. Most importantly, it's not a sales pitch. Definitely not a bait and switch. By no means it's a get rich quick formula or secrets to something. And we're not even asking for donations or charity or anything of that sort. And you have heard people who come as expert use all the fancy language. And I have termed that jargon monoxide. Just like carbon monoxide, it just suffocates clarity to make the speaker look smart. We will try to keep it as simple as possible. So what are we doing? We're literally launching something very unique, and it's based on my life journey and my story. And I'm going to walk you through all of that in a couple of minutes. But this is my purpose, initiative, vision. We want to bring the Maharashtrians from all over the world, not just in the Northern America, and create something of true generational value. And emphasis is on generational value, because that's what I'm here to talk about more than anything else. What can you do with the information we're going to learn? Share. Listen and learn quietly. And by the way, I could talk about this without any slides, but since we're going to share the pitch deck with you, I have decided to leave the bullet points. So if anyone wants to take any of this content and use it, feel free to do so. But if you don't want to do anything with this, that's perfectly fine as well. You can do this by yourself. We are here to teach and help. You can do it with others. You may already have an investment group, or you can take this journey with us. With that, just to get a feel for what the group thinks and feels about investing, let's take a quick show of hands and we'll do a quick survey. It's a couple of questions here. We'll give it less than a minute perhaps, but do take time. Those are not very difficult questions. It, just gives you an idea as to what we are going to get into. Anand, do you want to scroll down? Or everybody can scroll their own, right?
Yeah, they can.
All right, we'll just give a few more seconds and you can change your answers if you feel like. I have done that many times. And if you really think you don't want to answer one of the questions, by no means there is pressure. Anand? I don't have the timer on here, but Anand, if you're taking
So Jay, I can stop it in like 10 seconds.
10 seconds is fine. People, the countdown has started.
Good participation, 45 of 65. Good.
All right. So I will stop it.
Okay, great. Let's show everybody what everybody else is thinking about.
So you can see
The
that
knowledge comes to the top as we just thought, and this happens every time I speak with a group of people. Inertia does change every now and then. Fear sometimes takes over, but great. We can definitely focus on the knowledge part of it. We have plenty of it. We will cover it. Interestingly, right. The down arrow is not working again, by the way, guys. I just scrolled down, but it's fine. The name, what's in the name? Out of 4 words, 3 are very easy to relate to it, global, Marathi, and group. But investing is different for everybody. Here is a simple English definition. But as I said, it's definitely a lot different for everybody. But we'll see what it means to us as we go through it. One simple question for everybody. What are the top 3 investments? I'm giving away the first 2. Money, it's very, very obvious. Time, we say we invested time, it just doesn't come back. But what's the third one? Take a second. If you want to put it in chat, that's fine. If not, we can just go on to the next one. The third one, and I have to be careful scrolling it up, okay, is change. Not many people think about change as investment. My grandma told was perhaps one of the hardest ones, because learning and more importantly, unlearning is definitely a bigger investment at times. I'm going to ask you to do one simple exercise. Close your eyes and just ask, of all the dreams you've had since your childhood, how many of them have come true? And of course, the rest did not. But if you had so-called generational wealth, how many more would have come true? You don't have to share that with anybody. It's just a reflection. Because I was one of those people who did not have anything, and it did help. And I will share that with you again. My journey, many of you know me, have known me, started perhaps 30 short years ago, came to this country with nothing. Well, I came with $300 in my pocket. Somebody bought my ticket for $950. Now, big dreams, and a lot of lessons and learnings and wisdom that my grandmother shared when I was a kid in the stories that she told. I was very eager to apply some of those. And eventually I got the opportunity. We started our very first business 27, 28 years ago. And that was a consulting business. Of course, the easiest and the cheapest one to start. It doesn't take a whole lot of investment. So we started with $4,500. And within no time, the company had zero revenue. Within weeks, I got Computer Sciences Corporation, was over a $6 billion company at that time as my first direct client. And then as we grew, not too long after, I was able to bag the big whale called IBM. Half the people that know me to date still don't believe I was able to get IBM as a direct client on my own. But that's not the story. We diversified from that for various reasons. We got into education, then retail, then restaurants. Then we did some bootstrap venture. I was in insurance as well. Also did a lot of small commercial real estate, from land bank to value add to whatever it takes. And fortunately, with some goods and bads and everything, all those things worked to my benefit. And couple of things started happening. People come and ask you for money. People come and ask you for advice. Some people just start talking bad about you. And that's what happened. And a lot of people said, hey, can we do this together? Can you invest in us? Can you teach us what you're doing? And I did not have time to do this. So I said, yeah, teach part I can do, but the rest, I said, I'm already busy doing my own. So it'll have to wait. And it did. It just meant to be that way. I was trying to think as to why are these people coming and asking these things? Because, many of them, they did have money, the skills, and even the network that they needed. So what were they really looking for? Perhaps the access to certain deals, deal flow, and guidance as to, being Maharashtrians were not used to, were not big risk takers. They probably wanted to have a little comfort and guidance. And I was happy to give all of those things. But ultimately what was lacking was the actual know-how as to why, how, and the structure. Because it takes a lot of different structures to do a lot of different things. And I said, yeah, I think more than happy to help. Let's do this. But it was not meant to be again. A tragedy happens. Many people have had all kinds of things happen. We know tragic things happen to other people. With mine, there's plenty, but this one was big. One fine morning, Wednesday, 7:15 a.m., I used to go to my Rotary Club meeting, just a mile and a half away from home. Before I could make it to that meeting, I woke up in a hospital. I was T-boned by another car and nothing broke, but I had a serious brain injury and I started getting seizures from it. And they were so bad that after the seizure, I would fall asleep for hours. And after waking up was the worst part because the brain fog is what kept me from doing anything. And that means if the TV was on, it was just white noise. You try to read 3 sentences, can't comprehend anything. And we all grew up in India. Reading something new every day is like a required thing. We just can't live life without, we can't even imagine life without it. That forced us to take certain steps. So that night, our lives changed. Me and my family, our life changed forever. But, and this is the most important part, I think, our lifestyle did not change. And I'll repeat, our life changed, but our lifestyle did not. And that was because I was very fortunate to have that generational wealth to carry us through, even to date. And it took me a long time, years and years of trying every different thing. Finally, after 10 plus years, I went back to India to a naturopathy clinic in Bangalore. Jindal has. If anybody needs help, please do go there. It helps. 3 weeks there, 20 days actually, and it's close to 3 years now, and I have not had a single episode. So a year and a half ago, maybe perhaps two, I asked my wife, "You've known me the longest. So before the accident, after, and now, what do you see?" She said, "You are back to what you used to be. Please just don't be the same pain in the butt you were for 26 years. We've been married for 28 now." Yeah, that's it. Well, you could keep up with that for 26. Why not a few more? So that's where somewhere I said, why am I doing this locally with the friends and family and some social contacts? And most of them were actually non-Maharashtrians who were going to, participate with me. So why not do this? Because I already had started working with global, Garje Marathi. I'm very active in their venture catalyst, and I saw the quality of deal flow that's been coming through it. And so it's not for the lack of abilities that we have. It's just we don't have the scale and the speed. And that time, I did speak to a lot of different people. So how about we change this from what we had started 10, 12 years ago and then put a stop to it and now trying to revive? Why don't we just take this global and just make it special for our own people, just like other communities do? And by that, I mean Gujaratis, Jewish people do it. There are others, I'm sure you know. And people floated the idea, should we do the WhatsApp group? And I said, no, that is too cheesy. It doesn't actually create, you know, full clarity in terms of education and stuff. I said, why not create something that we can call our own platform and that can actually be, handed over to the next generation? We will share our skills, abilities, whatnot, create value, and pass it on to the next. And it gathered momentum. And before you know, we are here talking about it today.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very happy.
I can take a minute here, Jay.
Yes, please
So,
do, because I was going to actually, because I was late, I couldn't say this.
yes,
Yeah,
well, of course.
anytime, Sandeep, you and I have done a lot of work in this. Sandeep was also instrumental in making this happen, today's meeting, and he made some great suggestions, and his Stanford education shows. So, Sandeep, please feel free to get
Yeah,
in
I think,
anytime you need to and say whatever needs to be shared.
absolutely. I mean, I just want to take everybody into this journey of birth of GMG. Of course, every birth is painful in its own way, and it has its own sweet memories. So I remember walking my dog, and me and Jay discussing so many things about how this needs to be shaped up. And Garje Marathi's strength is we have global people right from, as I said, from New Zealand to California. So I said, let's not confine ourselves to just US, but let's make it more global and not just focus on local. And I think Jay, anyways, was thinking of continents. He'll talk about his company's name that will reflect what he is, anyways. So I think this all synergy coming together, I think it's a great timing for us, all of us. So I just wanted to mention that, Jay. Over to you.
Right. Thank you, Sandeep. And that's how, at least in theory, GMG was formed. And now, we're going to take this forward and make it a reality. So as you start any initiative, journey, business, venture, you always have to think about how you are going to do it. Do you have what it takes? So we spent some time discussing that at length. And here are some of the things. And I'm not going to read the list because I'm going to share the entire thing with you. But as you can see, ultimately, the bottom most bullet is the most important. We really have so much talent, capability, and capacity as Maharashtrians. We just bring all of that global wisdom and turn that into some serious action. And I have no doubt with your help, we should be able to do it. And I've been able to spot value before market. I have leveraged that many, many times in my personal life. And that's why I was able to actually make a lot more money with certainly a lot less effort. And it's not rocket science, really, it's simple science. I'm happy to share that with everybody that's willing to learn. So looked at some of our strengths as Maharashtrians, we are truly very, very highly educated bunch of people. I like the ethical and principle part because I have heard this from other communities, Gujaratis, Punjabis, and others, that we like Marathi employees. They do really phenomenal job. Our clients are always happy. So frugality comes by design, I guess, because we are all products of our environment. Most of us did grow up with very modest means. So that makes us inherently very capital efficient. I cannot say that about my own child because she was born here. She sees things differently. Our work ethic is second to none. We do put in more than 40 hours very easily. And yet we still manage to be culturally together, still have that community oriented feel. And on the flip side of that, this question is there a reason why other communities who don't even have as much as we do in terms of you name it, and they still are a tad bit more successful in terms of at least creating wealth? And we try to list some of those things. Most of those are very simple, but again, the last one is what I would like to focus on. And that's we really are underexposed to high growth asset classes. And I can take a little bit one more minute and tell what I mean by that. Most of us started, doing stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Some of us upgraded our first house, bought a bigger house. The old house became a rental property. And then, as we have all now lived here almost 30 years, we have, a little bit more money. So we are now investing in other asset classes, but mostly I hear people are still in real estate. And I made millions of dollars in real estate. So I have nothing against it, still don't. But real estate has limitations. It's a good hedge against inflation. It provides some tax benefits, but it can never reach or deliver the kind of multiples that the private equity playbook that I played and the venture. Those are two things I decided because time is of essence now. I've already lost almost 12 plus years. So how can we make the most in the least amount of time? And those two asset classes is where I have made most money. And I think we should all leverage that. And we say we are risk averse, but when we invest in stocks, we are taking risk. So it's not like we are risk averse in that way. Only thing stocks give you is a little bit more liquidity. What by that I mean, if you want to sell something today, you can sell something and get whatever cash. Whereas, real estate or other classes, it takes a little bit more time to get that money back. I'm sure you all have been thinking, so he's been talking all the game and everything. What's really in this? What is that we are supposed to know in terms of how this thing is going to work? I had this Google form that I was sending in the beginning. What happened is some reason, that got edited, and I missed one of the US legal requirements where we asked if you are an accredited investor. Because the kind of fundraising or investments that people take, we have to follow certain rules. And but it's no damage done. I can still do it another time. We will probably just get another form. But what's required from you, we will have to have another conversation about that. Or if we have enough time in Q&A, I may be able to cover some of those things. What we will invest in, I'm going to cover that briefly. What control, if any one of you have been investors in any of the funds, you already know the answer to that. And I'm sure you have many, many more questions, and we'll definitely cover those. But to answer what we have in mind and what we are trying to, achieve here, two ways to invest in this. One, because I have been an idea machine, and even after the accident, even though I was not doing a whole lot of things, I was constantly ideating. And I've been, luckily it's great to be an Indian in this country right now, and I refer US. We just have a bunch of so highly educated people with all kinds of subject matter expertise. 25 and 30 years each. And, I am very glad to say that I'm networked with quite a few of them. I'm sure all of us have. But we do have those academic and intellectual conversations. So I've been running those ideas through, and we've been, funneling them once, twice. And out of over 300 that I've gone through over 10 years, we can easily say we have a couple dozen or even more that are really, really great ideas even to date. And I've been trying to give them away to people, but almost everybody wants to say, these are your ideas, you do them, we'll work with you. That's one thing we're going to talk about in details another time. In that fund, it's not exactly a venture fund or a private equity. We thought, why not take the best of everything? We've always been taught, take the good from everybody. So this is literally a hybrid of a venture and private equity. It started with, me becoming, there are a lot of things people have been doing. This venture business has been around for 70 years. It's not very efficient. It has delivered a lot of, innovation, but most definitely not in an efficient way. Private equity has created more amount of billionaires than who knows. Excuse me. They have a couple $1 trillion of money sitting looking for deals, and there is not a whole lot of deal flow. So my idea was to become a deal flow engine for private equity, and I coined a new term called private equity studio. Just like venture studio builds certain companies to a small extent, they don't actually do the whole thing. It's partial. But so why not become one? Because there's money, they're looking for deals, but somebody stole my idea after I shared it with them. And I decided to then change. And so we created a lab plus fund model. And what that basically means is inception to liquidity. By liquidity, we mean exit. So we are going to build certain things. So we will be founders, we will be builders, we will develop, we will scale those companies, we will be investors, like multi-stage investors. That means we don't have to go beg for money from venture capitalists at every stage. And we will provide the exit, something that's never been done. And we are actually going to do this, especially and only exclusively to change the venture/startup ecosystem as we have known for the last 2 generations. And with that, when a startup is built, it will actually look, act, and behave like an enterprise. And you can just imagine how much efficiency and friction is removed from that. Second one is curated deal flow. Because I'm already on Venture Catalyst, we see the deal flow. I'm also on the board and I am on the due diligence committee in Tampa. And by that extension, I also get to see the deal flow from all the Thai communities from all over the world. And if all that was not enough, I'm also on different committees and this is a big one, Capital Association, that's Angel Capital Association of America. They have 15,000 members collectively. And I'm also on their syndication committee. So I get to see the deal flow that most people can only imagine. But we don't want to just take somebody's word. We want to develop a platform where we build our own due diligence engine platform for valuation, and then and only then share that with the community, where we may or may not invest in every deal because not everybody can and should. But at least we can say, we've done the homework. Here is the result. If you feel like you can take it further. Those are two ways we would like to make sure that all of us contribute, cooperate, and benefit. And in FICON, we're not just asking people to be investors. If you're a subject matter expert, we want you. If you're a board of director type materials, and many of our folks are and have been working for big companies, consulting companies, Fortune 1000 companies, whatever. If you were a CEO or an operator in private equity, or another word in the startup world is founder. But this is not the kind of founder we're looking for, where you come up with your own ideas. Not that we are against it, but we already have plenty. We are actually going to give you one. And if you just want to be an employee and, contribute, you will have that option in addition to become an investor or otherwise. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I'll add more to this, Jay, on
Yeah,
this.
please do.
Yes, so obviously, as Jay mentioned, right, he's come up with a lot of curated knowledge here, and this fund, which is already started and working, he's inviting all people who are venture experts, or as I said, right, people, subject matter experts. If you can join, that's there. Venture Catalyst, which Jay is part of, is also giving a lot of opportunities to a lot of Marathi startups primarily. Of course, one of the co-founder, we want them to Marathi, and that's the same thing we are taking here. That okay, we will, as Jay said, we'll create our own engine. Obviously, there is a good mechanism already built. We will just on top of it build something more to make sure that the investors also now get to be more connected rather than just attend the demo day. So that way we are also curating the investors. So the purpose here is to curate you into the mindset which Jay has been talking about, like get out of that risk hours mindset, get into something. If you want to have exposure to this type of asset classes, Jay will be the best person, or the team we have going to form is going to be the best team who will help you get over that fear and mindset. And that's where I think some of these programs, Jay, we are planning, right? So that just wanted to add on that.
Thank you, Sandeep. And by no means, just because I get to be the chief pontificator or the big messenger with the loudspeaker, doesn't mean I am it. We have people that are, MBAs from Ivy League school, PhDs, professors, partners from Goldman Sachs to McKinsey to Bain, you name it, we do have. And those people are contributing, advising, and sharing their wisdom. And now you will say, oh, in the beginning, I did say it's not a sales call, and now he's asking for investment. No, it's not that. This you still have the option of do nothing or take the journey with us. But my screen is stuck. Sorry. One more time, we'll do have a little self-reflection as we come trying to get close to this. You initially named yourself as to what kind of investor you are. You did a little self-reflection about the dreams. You saw how I was able to come with nothing and build, the kind of generational wealth that all of us should have because we have the ability, capability, and no reason not to. So, and the investment about the change we talked about, because time, money, it's yes, but change. So please ask yourself what kind of investor you would like to be starting today, and what do you need to learn and unlearn to become that. You don't have to do it right now and take a picture of this, but we will share the pitch deck and you will be able to do this again because and this is the reason we are doing this self-reflection more than once because we all get used to living our lives certain way. And like Sandeep said a couple of minutes ago or a minute ago, when you go to pitch days, when you hear about stories at cocktail parties as to how somebody invested, a lot of times there is luck, a lot of times there is you know access. But I did not have access. I did not have money. And I actually talked to a lot of MBAs who want to become investors. And I asked all of you, and this is not just about MBAs, by the way, everybody. People believe, follow strongly, and use quantitative analysis to make decisions. A lot of times we forget the qualitative part is just as important. You, and that's where I think I may have been a little bit more fortunate, is I saw the opportunities that others did not, could not, or would not, and I took advantage of those, and that's one of the reasons I think I was a little bit more successful at a faster clip. In closing, let's do this one quick exercise. You've heard Sandeep, you've heard me. Now you get to ask yourself whatever questions you want to ask them for your family, how it applies, and then for the Marathi community as we know. And when you're done with that, reverse the sequence. First, think about the community, then your family, then yourself, and then just be quiet and listen. In that, your answer is going to find you. I'll pause for a second if you want to do it now. If not, you can do it another time. Do it with your friends, family. Do it more than once.
I think if you have any
Okay.
questions, also you can start putting into the
Yes.
chat.
And key takeaways at the very end. Yes, we will educate you as we go further, but there's a lot of available information all over on the internet and other sources now. Please do educate yourself. Always work with experts because they have spent years and years doing things and have certain knowledge. And again, not reading the list, but I always insist, please pay it forward. We have so much valuable knowledge. Let's do this for our community. We are the ones who've been making others rich for too long. It needs to stop. And I think we can make that a great beginning. And I will stop sharing my screen and join everybody. And happy to answer any questions you may have. Feel free to raise your hands. I don't know if there's anybody who's put them in Q&A session here.
Yes, Suhas has asked a question if the fund has a standard structure and LPs.
Yes. Well, the way we started, it actually was not going to be even a fund. It was going to be a syndication model. But what happens is you lose control a little bit in the syndication. So we had to add a fund structure. So yes, it does have a standard VC or a PE fund where there are LPs, that means investors, and there are general partners who run the fund. And below that, we will have, and in the next presentation, we will share a slide that shows the structure of the fund. Because of the 506B and C regulations, it's not legal for me to just talk about entire presentation and listen until we go through certain steps. So I'm just taking one extra step. But yes, investors, fund managers, portfolio companies. That's how most of the funds work.
Yeah.
And we can talk in details, most definitely.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's another question here. How does the Marathi fund support portfolio ventures that are actively exploring M&A as a path to value realization, particularly Marathi founders who are seeking to monetize years of effort through exits? I think, Jay, you can
Great
answer
question,
first.
Chetan.
Yeah.
There are more than one
Yeah.
ways. The shortest way, I think, is if you have any assets or any startups or businesses that you already have built over the years and have created great value, we can certainly look at the mergers and acquisition. I used to be a business intermediary in lower and mid markets. So I have seen many, many different businesses. I have friends that have been doing this for enterprise clients. So we know how to value those. We have network. I'm also a part of International Business Intermediaries Association. We can definitely put those things in market and do the auction type sales for anybody that has already done it. And this may be too early on the second part of that. We literally are building a different kind of platform. And any of you who know or have bought or sold a business will know this. Whenever you buy or sell a business, this thing called 100-day plan. What that means, it's both companies, when they come together, they have to figure out which one of their systems need to stay, which ones have to go, what changes they need to do operationally, capital wise, and it's standard 100-day plan. When we are done with our platform, that 100-day plan will look like a 10-day plan if, and the emphasis is on if. That's how much efficiency we can build because we've done this for so long. We know I don't know why people are still doing this in stages, steps, and silos. We will be able to unify those things. Does that answer your question, Chetan?
Absolutely, Jay. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Are you dealing with certain broker dealer to get investments? That's Milind. At this moment, no, we do not have. This is the first time, we are introducing. We have not officially launched the fund. We are very close to getting it. We have been putting finishing touches. But if you know any broker dealers, Milind, that would be interested in helping us, I'm more than happy to take this further with you. You have my contact information. I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn or anywhere else. Feel free to do that anytime.
Yep. Sure,
Does that answer
Sanjay.
your question, Milind?
Yes, thank you. आपण बोललो होतो आणि with respect to youth, so you remember my face hopefully.
Absolutely,
But
Milind.
I'll
I
chat
do.
with you.
I
Yeah.
spoke too much. I gave you too many. You wrote them down and you said you were going to implement. I don't know how many. Things made sense after that, but hopefully you were able to.
Yes. So
There are a couple more
I'll chat
questions
with
we
you
have.
offline. Yeah,
Thank you.
perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, there are a few questions which I'll take.
Gauri? Yeah, you want to go ahead and read those questions,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
will try and answer as much as I can.
Yeah, some of them I think I can answer upfront. Where
Yeah.
I think Gauri is looking for, how can she contribute? So I think Gauri, you have me or Anand Ganu is there for us to analyze your strengths, and then what we can do is we'll plug you into this whole process to make sure that we take advantage of your knowledge. So certainly reach out to us, and then definitely as we build the structure around this investor group. We definitely will need a lot of help, Jay, right? So to make sure that, there's a lot of activities for us to make sure that the deal flow is proper, we are analyzing it, and there's so many activities connecting with founders, making sure that the investors are getting the right messaging and all that. So we need help there. Um, I think the question from SU, I couldn't get the name. I think she's asking, have you raised this fund? So as the
I can
answer
answer
is yes
that.
and no. So maybe Jay, you can answer that.
Yeah. We have some soft commitments from friends and families. We have not formalized the fundraise, but it's we will be very happy to have as little as $10 million to $30 million, and that's because depending on how much we are able to raise, we can just start building that many platforms. And like I said, we are not investing in any stages because we are inception to liquidity. We are the founders on day one or day zero. We will build, scale, operate, and exit. And we will invest at every stage within. So this is not a typical venture fund where we have to go looking for. Because as I was doing a fellowship at UC Berkeley, I realized some of the smart kids had great ideas. They don't have any money. Actually, they had student loans. Yet, companies were wanting to charge them thousands of dollars for stupid Excel sheets and legal forms. And I couldn't stop but think, who was the smart guy that came up with the idea that founders should also fundraise? Because not all founders can or should. I don't know how many companies died because a founder could not fundraise. So we literally have a tagline that says innovators should innovate. Investors should enable. We are just the catalyst. And that's how actually FICON was built. By the way, the name FICON stands for 5 continents. Just like people come from 5 continents to play Olympics with be the best mentality, why not bring Marathi people from all 5 continents, because we are everywhere, with the be the best mentality and build something that can be used by the next 2 generations worldwide. And that was the reason I named it PyCon and then Lab plus Fund, because we're not a venture fund. We are not a private equity fund. We literally are inception to liquidity. Most of the investments will be in the US because there are a lot of advantages of being in the US, but the solutions will be built globally and sold globally. Because in our lifetime, the US leadership position is not changing anytime soon. And there's no need to give up that advantage.
Okay. So just to add to this, what Jess said, right, from the fund perspective, there are a lot of questions around the structure and how it is going to work and all that. So, Jay, for some reason, yesterday your site was working and then somebody checked also that link didn't work. So maybe I also tried and there was some issue there. Maybe you can check on that. But
I will check on that
yeah,
because when I shared that with you, it was working.
yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what may have
HTTPS is
happened, but I
required at the
will. My
beginning.
apologies, everybody.
No, it worked, Sandeep. I just tried it.
Yeah, it works. And I think just one clarification, it's not FinCon, it's FICON. FICON, not FINCON.
Yeah,
Ah, so that
it's a
spell.
spelling mistake. Yeah.
FICON stands for 5 continents. That way, I guess, it's easy to remember.
So coming back to this question, right? See, FICON, this as me and Jay discussed, like how are you going to handle the deal flow? How are you going to handle the investments? Are we going to really invest into things which, come everything which comes our way? So that's where Jay said the differentiation is, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, that we will have at least two different ways of investing. One is obviously a FICON will have its own deal flow, which will have certain specific criterias, and Jay will qualify that in a way he sees appropriate. And then same, we will also build, I would say, an augmented version of venture catalyst to make sure we create a platform to then recommend the companies which come to us, where we will have some people going that way, because the risk appetite will be different depending on, and of course the quantum will be different depending on where you are. So that wanted to clarify on that. So that also answers the question, Samir, that I think the entity will matter. It doesn't matter B2B or B2C. Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. There is no specific focus as such. There's no domain focus. It is just
This is basically ecosystem for the ecosystem. We're writing a brand new operating system for how to build startups and how to fund them.
yes, perfect.
Yeah. Sanjeev has asked, fund is different for different people, but it's basically a vehicle where investors pool their resources and allocate them into certain, startups. Well, that's what we will talk about here, but it could be real estate, it could be anything else. And you're asking that you're also looking for investments. There are funds who invest in other people's properties, businesses, and assets, or startups. Our fund is not going to be one of them. But if you have a great idea and want to be a part of the fund as a startup in our ecosystem, you're more than welcome. We already have enough ideas of our own that we need to fund.
Okay, so a couple of questions here I'll again take up because without taking the names. One, I think Sunil, I saw your question. We can reach out one-on-one. You might have my details. If you don't, I'll send it separately. As far as the minimum contribution is concerned, Yogesh, that whole thing will be elaborated once you show this interest. As you said, once you cross this bridge and say that I'm interested, which anyway we have taken a survey, we'll reach out to you. To Shree's question, we will not have recurring meetings on this on a public platform, but people who have shown interest for us to educate them how to join the fund, there will be series of meetings. There is no specific timeline for that, but it will be on need basis to make sure that we quickly ramp this up. That's the main objective. Um, Mahesh, I don't know whether we will have an answer for the legal guidance, but I think Jay, the question is, if you are on a visa, are you in can I invest and stuff like that? So do you want to comment on that?
The short answer is yes, there is always a way, but we will talk about that separately because we have people from all over the world and we don't want to just hog the time for the US issues.
Answer to Vinayak, GMG will have no role as a non-profit organization to play in this whole venture, because we cannot make profit-making things. So this will be a complete separate entity, of course, governed or driven by GMG values, which is very important for all of us to know. There is a certain set of protocols for us to make sure that, but we are here for us to make money. So we have to have some commercial entity which will drive this whole conversation. So hope that makes the differentiation clear. Jay is a strong supporter of GMG. I'm a founder director. So I think its ethos will remain to make sure that we help and grow each other, with GMG as given, but it will be a completely separate entity. Okay. Perfect. Any more? You tap any question, Jay, you want to answer?
All right. Let's scroll down a little bit. You answered this one. The
Yeah.
next one is Jay and Sandeep, ANZ region, how the fund can help. I did tell you earlier, if you are, subject matter expert, board of director, founder material, employee, we all want to talk to you. And the next form or question that, a QR code you will see at the end again, I will send you has those questions. So feel free to, elaborate as to how you can be part of it, and we will figure out how you can contribute. Sirinol, we already are talking to you through the Venture Catalyst, and we will address your concern there.
And we are-
Sunil is asking, co-founder of IT company.
Yeah, I'll take it offline, Jay.
We'll
with
take
you.
that offline, okay?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
So I think another question, I would highly encourage everyone to join the Venture Catalyst program to really get a feel of, right, Jay? You want to talk about that?
Yes.
So that
We are
it's kind
going
of
to share a link where people get to register as investors and even as founders. If you have a startup that you would like us to evaluate and put you in front of the investors, that's for the founders in here. The investors in you register as investors, because when we have a pitch day, we will send you an invitation and you will get to see what kind of founders and startups we are able to bring to you. But those are only, the GMG Venture Catalyst is limited to, the Maharashtrian connection. So I am unable to share what I get from my Thai connections or other global American connections. We will not be able to share those there. That's why we are building a platform.
correct. Yeah, I think glad you clarified this. A lot of
Thank
people
you.
might ask, so why another platform? The idea is that you get exposure to the wider deal flow, and that's where
What's the qualification you're looking for to join the fund? Joining the fund as an investor, you have to have money. And in other capacities, that's going to be based on what experience, knowledge, and capacity, capability you have. So that will be another conversation. Thank you for the kind words, Mayur. I appreciate it. Let's go down further.
Yeah, I think
Startup steroid. Yeah, I'm aware of startup steroid. We do use it. What kind of companies we invest in? We are literally building platforms and marketplaces to make sure that startups and the investment for the startups is done differently, which is much more efficient, time saving, and a lot more unified than what's today. So removing the friction and inefficiencies in the entire ecosystem is our sole purpose. That's for Anish. Vinod, minimum investment, that will be part of the second conversation. Right. Any other questions at this time, everybody?
We are on 1 hour. We are on 1 hour.
yes.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to, I will hang out for a minute, but we can perhaps stop the recording, and then I'm happy to answer the questions. Or just chat for a couple more minutes if anybody wants to. And if not, very easy to find out. There is no Sanjay Kalke in English. So it's J Kalke, easy to find on LinkedIn. Reach out, and happy to connect one-on-one anytime.
Thank you.
Sandeep, Anand, do you have anything to say in closing?
Yeah, I'll close
Or
it.
can you please?
Yes. So thank you, Jay. I think very valuable insight, and I think we're very happy that whatever we're discussing for few months now is coming to a fruit. We've seen a lot of interest. People want to join, so they learned a lot from you. I'm sure. Anand, again, thank you for creating this platform for all of us, so that we are in a position to now take the next leap in this journey of making all of us successful and purposeful, together. So thank you all. I've given my
And I would like to join you in thanking Anand Ganu for making this happen. Anand and I have talked about this. 2005 BMM convention was in Atlanta. I was on a business committee, and we tried that. It did not work, but Anand You did a
It was
phenomenal
really
job
glad
of
to do
bringing
that.
people together. And
it
I
will
cannot
work
thank you enough for that. And I've said that in person before, and I say that again today.
Last, I have recorded this thing, entire meeting. Are we allowed to create a YouTube and share it with public, or we have to keep it for the private circulation?
Let's discuss that internally, and
Okay.
we can decide.
Yeah.
But we will make it available for the participants. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm
Thank you.
stopping the recording. So stop.